Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching Empyrion Galactic Survival episode 146. I'm Enigmas and today we're getting close. We're getting much closer than I expected to being able to say that the hull is structurally complete. I'm just going to let you watch the transformation that takes place, and we're going to move around the ship a couple of different times so that you can kind of get an idea at least of what I've been up to since the last episode. The whole idea here is on the starboard side, this side of the ship, I wanted to make some adjustments to the way things looked, the way things overlapped, looking with an idea towards the function of these plates and also the appearance. It wasn't just a purely cosmetic overhaul. The port side, this side here, is what got most of the attention. That's because there were still incomplete sections on this side. The starboard side was modifications. This side is putting things in place. You can see we've got this big section with a bunch of cutout areas just for texture and general interest. And then we start getting those secondary hull plates working the way back and kind of overlapping as we go. And also getting some thrusters in place, although not a lot by this point. It's really difficult to kind of give you an idea of how everything is coming together without actually getting down there and showing you specifically what's going on in a more live sense. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to show you this one last little transformation. There we go. And then we'll hop in and we'll show you a little bit more clearly exactly what we've been doing and what's going to be the next step. Well, this is pretty much where we left off, the same viewpoint that we had from the older footage, the time-lapse kind of stuff. And you can see I'm using God mode to get around, and I think it might be a regular thing going forward because we can get around as though we're in a drone without the drone overlay on the screen, and without the range limitations of the drone. We can also get around a little bit faster. If we want to get around fast, we can. We do have that option to move around much faster. This is my little ship that I use for getting those still images from the same perspective. The other thing that's kind of a benefit is that when we've got a ship this size and you want to get inside, kind of going down and up and underneath to show you guys what's going on inside, is sort of a pain in the butt, but with God mode on you can clip through walls and things. So it's just I think it's going to create a better presentation than the previous options, which is always kind of a welcome thing. You can see here we've got most of the secondary plates done. We've even got this section here, which is just a big sloped plate of combat steel held in place with the truss blocks, which I quite like. It's got that sort of aesthetic to it. It makes sense from a structural point of view, or at least some sense. I don't think if this was all combat steel and this was all I had holding it up, that this would be enough. But the game doesn't care, and so neither do I. The one thing that I have left to do with regards to all of these secondary plates and all the wrapping around and all that other stuff is, first of all, the underside of the ship. And this is very important because if we don't put the secondary plates on the underside of the ship will be the weak point. And it will be a very large weak point where you can punch through pretty much anywhere, one block worth of combat steel, and have immediate access to the armored glass interior sections. And we really don't want to do that. So what we're going to end up doing, once I have an opportunity, is we're going to lift this up off the ground, and then we're going to go around and we're going to put concrete blocks underneath all of the landing pads. And then we're going to set it back down so that it's elevated 2 or 3 blocks higher than what it is now, so that we can get the plates underneath. And we're going to also make more robust structural elements that will be holding the landing pads going forward. Just because, I mean, this was never intended to be a permanent landing pad holding thing. This was just holding the structure of the ship while we started building it. And we had the same thing extending out the other side right there. I would rather have these looking like they're structurally strong enough to be holding a ship of this size, because right now I'm not convinced. I don't think that would hold up. So while the ship is elevated, or once the ship is elevated, we'll be able to do that. But primarily the concern is making sure that we've got some extra protection underneath, and anywhere here where we haven't yet brought things overlapping coming up around the side and things of that nature, we'll have the opportunity to do that from the underside and kind of get everything taken care of that way. There's actually not a whole lot left that we have to do. I mean, we've got, in some cases, 3 layers or more of combat steel. This isn't going to be an easy ship to disable or do much of anything else to it. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys over on this side, give you an idea of what it starts to look like when we've textured it with the shiny metal texture. So when you use the shiny metal texture, many of you are already aware, it also basically does the equivalent of paint the block the dark gray color. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 sort of thing. I believe that I will be leaving the main color of the ship this color, and then we'll be doing some other colors for the details and highlights and things of that nature all around the ship. But this is a pretty good starting point for a color for this kind of ship, and you can see it. I think it's going to look all right. I mean, I basically extended it at least on the surface all the way down this side of the ship. If you kind of look closely underneath some of these layers, you'll find sections that I haven't done yet, and I missed a spot right there. You can see, and some things in behind. But realistically speaking, it was a good demonstration, and it was a good opportunity for me to kind of get down to the business of texturing things a little bit more completely and see what it would look like, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. So next episode, expect to see plates on the underside and some sort of structure holding the landing pads, and depending on how involved that process ends up being, I wouldn't be surprised to also see some of the detailing going into place, because that's going to be a fairly large job. Not just doing the different textures in various different places to make it look more interesting, but actually adding structural detailing, things that are just there to make things look a little bit more interesting, in addition to texturing the dark gray all the way around with the shiny metal. So we've got lots left to do, but we're making good progress at this point. Some of the tasks, very simple to describe. Texture the ship with the shiny metal texture. Doesn't take long to describe, takes a little while to do, but we're going to try and keep the pace up and keep this going all the way to the end. So if you want to be notified about the next and future videos in the series, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media are always in the information section below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.